You are watching On Demand. Please do not try to vote or enter any competition or other interactivity in this programme, as it may not count and you may still be charged.
Today on your Loose Women Live, it's Kay Adams, Frankie Bridge, Sumitra Sarkar and Judy Love.
I totally got caught out there. Sorry about that.
Telling me off as always.
I was telling her off. Welcome to your last jam-packed Loose Women of the Week. Here's what we've got coming up. It's the so-called cost of loving crisis. The price of finding a partner's gone up by 30 quid. But what about if you're single with kids and looking for love? Is it okay to ask your date to split the babysitting bill? One of us has. And from Country File to the Quick Step, Helen Skelton waltzed her way into our hearts on last year's Strictly. She'll be telling us how it really felt to perform that dance with Gorka and how her confidence grew. And it was known for its gritty storylines.
You just go. I need to check the kitchens. Helen, will you take her out?
Oh, after 20 years, Brookside is back on our screens and we're reuniting 3 of the original cast, Claire Sweeney, Alex Fletcher and, of course, our own Sinatra, for a trip down Brookside Close. We'll see if you can remember the theme tune just off the top of your head, Sinatra. We'll give you a bit of time. Oh, she did it! She did it. Good for you. Now, listen, a secondary school in Cornwall has a new policy that means pupils can only go to the toilet outside of lesson time. Included in that, girls can request a red card pass to go to the loo when they're on their period. It can be requested ahead of time for pupils to keep in their bag and just use it when it's needed. Now, the school says that, you know, this has worked perfectly successfully and it operates on trust, so they are happy with this system. Can you see, can you see the wisdom behind this?
I think it's a really sensitive subject for some young girls who are obviously just starting their periods. We all remember what that felt like. It was nerve-wracking. However comfortable and confident your mum was explaining it to you on your own at school, having to handle it. It's quite a, I'm feeling anxious thinking about those very first times. So I think it would be nice to have some sort of solution for those people who have got those. I know that there's a chance it can be exploited. Schools are full of so many different personalities. There's always going to be people that might take it to the nth degree. But I do think, in general, it's a really good gesture in the right direction to make girls feel like they've got a backup if they just can't tell their teacher the truth.
Yeah, I mean, as you say, they're all different personalities. I mean, what did 14-year-old Judy Love, how did she deal with those situations?
I'm a bit swayed on this one between both sides because, I think kids, they'll find an opportunity either way if they want to be, like, mischievous. When I was 14, I do remember, like, wanting to go toilet to bunk off. Yeah, and and one time I was like, they wouldn't let me go to the toilet, so I just stood up and I was like, "Sir, I'm on my period," and I knew.
Oh, look there, look.
But because I knew it was a male teacher, I knew he'd be uncomfortable, so that got me out. So look, teachers, let's keep it real. They're under a lot of pressure. Okay, they're not just teachers; they're almost teachers, social workers, parents, nurses, doctors, all security guards, all in one. So if they can find something that can help the structure within the classroom so it's not as much disrupted, then I suppose, as a parent, there's a bit of support. But I hope that not every child will be kind of labelled the same, and think about the ones like what you said who would feel even uncomfortable to be walking around with the red card.
I mean, it's just a different generation. When I was at school, we also did some terrible things for our male teachers. I mean,
this is obviously the naughty end of the table, Frankie.
I know, yeah.
I was never like this at school.
Oh,
really? Oh, no.
You waited until you was an adult to be naughty.
Exactly.
No, but I was terrified of them.
Of
I would
being
hate to get in trouble. Yeah, if I ever thought I was even remotely going to be in trouble, I'd just burst into tears.
Oh, my God.
Look at that fringe, all the fear in that fringe it was.
Would you have liked a little red card tucked into your satchel?
I don't know. I think It depends. Like, I can't. It doesn't explain how they use it. Do you just go and like slip it on the teacher's desk when you walk in? Is it something you got? Do you know what I mean? Like, surely it's not something you hold up. I think.
How many
for
periods
me, it's
can
like
you have as well? How many periods
yeah,
can you
well,
have?
exactly. And everyone is quite different. You know, some might have more than others. But I just think in an ideal world, yes, we should all be able to go up to a teacher and say, look, miss or sir, I've got my period, please, can I just go to the toilet? But obviously that's not happening, so they're needing to put this in place, otherwise they wouldn't have. But I think it's a shame, but...
Whether I could have had the guts to give a red card to my teacher, I think I'd have rather shared it with my friends and asked them to help, because at school, I went to an all-girls school and we would help each other out, like, if we really needed to. I remember, like, we had to pay 10 pence to get a tampon from the toilets. You'd have to... And some people would go to, can I be excused, go to the toilet, and then they'd come back and go, has anyone got 10p? And we would really, like... There was a sisterhood in our classroom, so much so that the poor male teachers, I was going to say, we used to put tampons in the chalk tray. So when he went to start writing, he'd lift the chalk and there'd be this string
out of the packet.
Literally, so funny.
Why are tampons so funny? There's something about them, isn't there? That's just really funny. Like little mice.
I know. I remember a friend of mine when you're saying that, and she obviously had stuffed the tampons in her umbrella because she didn't want anyone to see them, did you? You know, so she'd put them in the umbrella, and then we were going from like that building to that building, and it was raining, and of course you went, and it was like raining tampons all over the playground, and it was like, you know, it was like the world stopped. It was the most terrible thing.
I think it's a weird thing, though, being like, I get why you're not allowed to go to the toilet all the time, because, like you said, people were using it to their advantage. And when you're at work and stuff, you can't just get up and go to the loo all the time. But I remember when I was younger, not at primary school, I wasn't allowed to go to the toilet, and I actually felt sick. And then I was like, sick everywhere, and then all the way down like the hallway and everything, because I was so scared to say that I needed to go. So I think there's a line of like strictness there.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose that's what I kind of think about this, because it seems as if it's there instead of relationships. I mean, it would be ideal, obviously, if a teacher was able to sort of know the kids and the kids know the teacher, so that you didn't have to have these systems. But I get what you're saying, Judy. Everyone's under stress these days, so sometimes you just need something that, you know, is a go-to
they might have
way of doing
three students in their class like me.
Yeah.
Imagine.
Early retirement. This is what the school says. It says that girls can request red period pass cards. Should they be red? I don't know. Via their tutors, which they can keep in their bags to use when required. It's always proven successful, and many of our girls already know of and make use of the cards. So, I mean, I guess if it works for them, you know, so be it. Something very different now. Are you a rat or a frog? Yeah. Hobson's choice there. Well, apparently we are all one of the other, and you just instinctively can tell. You look at somebody's face and you go rat or frog. So, like, Frankie, we are starting with you.
With me?
Let's have it. No, we're just looking at you.
Oh,
Frankie,
no pressure.
Rat or frog? Rat or frog? I'm going rat. You've changed to frog.
No, I looked at your face. I looked at your face a bit better.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm guessing, but I think the green's helping me go that way.
I know.
I chose the wrong colour today. Also, that's not a pretty frog. I quite like frogs. I'm a bit offended by that one. But I used to look like a frog when I was little, so it makes sense.
Sinetra, rat or frog, definitely. You think she's a rat?
Oh, I like that. I'd rather be a rat than a frog.
Your eyes.
A ratty.
No.
It's got pointed.
I'm happy with that.
Judy, let's see Judy. What do we think? I'm sticking with frogs.
Oh, no, you're talking about me. I
You're a frog.
Oh,
now
obviously.
It's your turn.
She's in green as well today.
And I mean, I think I'm pretty obvious as well, aren't I?
So you're the only rat at the table.
I'm the only rat at the table. I'm the chief rat.
You're a good rat.
3 frogs.
That's a really cute rat.
It's funny, we were actually playing this game this morning in a meeting, weren't we? Because we've got pictures up on the wall of all the kind of loose women, just to make sure they don't escape. And we were just sitting there going, rat, frog, rat, frog, rat, frog.
There's a few that got us, though,
Ruth is definitely... Hang on, let's do it. Here we go. We've got Ruth. Frog.
Ruth.
Do we agree, audience?
Oh, I went rat.
Oh, really? Do you go rat? Who else have we got? Colleen, frog. I'm a rat amongst loads of frogs. I really am. Brenda's a frog.
Yeah.
Brenda's a complete frog.
What did I say?
Janet's a complete rat.
ratty doing this. I feel like we're calling
feel
out
bad?
names.
Who's that? Gloria's a rat. Me, Gloria and Janet are the only rats in the pack. Rat pack. All right. Who else have we got?
I heard him say
Denise was a mixed one.
Denise is funny.
Oh, yeah.
Denise is funny.
And Christy.
She's a frat.
Frog.
Oh. Linda's
Denise
a
is
frog.
a frat, and Linda's a frog, I would say. Oh,
Yeah,
rat.
what would you say here? I think she's more rat.
No, hang on. This is getting ridiculous. Christina's not a frog.
What? I'm talking
Why?
about the shape of her. She's got really nice cheeks.
Neither is an insult. Let's just clear this up.
Yeah.
Neither of these categories.
You're going half of the rat team, aren't you?
Yeah, I am. What would you rather be then?
I'd rather be a deer.
You've always got to spoil it, haven't you,
Yes.
Sinatra? You've always got to spoil it.
Sorry.
Still to come. I'm a Jack Russell Terrier, by the way. Helen Skelton shares her Strictly journey. We are taking a trip down memory lane as Brookside returns to our screens and these two debates. Is it OK to ask your date to split the babysitting bill if you're a single parent with kids and you're looking for love? And is it selfish to carve out me time as a parent? Or do we have a right to some time away from family life? We'll see you soon. Nice to see you again. We have had an update on the frog and rat thing. Kim has got in touch to say in their house they play horse or plate.
What?
I have no idea. We're not going to go there, Kim, if you don't mind.
I thought it was birds.
It's the shape of your face. You're a horse or a plate.
I'd be a plate, I reckon.
Judy's not impressed.
Yeah, because I'm only going to get one thing, innit?
Right, as the cost of dating has gone up, much like everything else, of course, we are talking about the realities of finding love as a single parent, something that Judy and Sinatra have experienced firsthand, the pair of plates that they are. And Helen Skelton is talking Strictly. Oh, she's taking Strictly on tour, and she's robbed my dance partner, Kai. She'll be telling us about juggling, parenting with a paso doble, and how Gorka is still her biggest cheerleader. But it's competition time now, and lines close in just a few hours for a fantastic two-part prize worth over £104,000. Here's Josie with the details.
Hello and welcome to the stunning Margam Country Park, a beautiful location in South Wales. We're better placed to bring you our incredible competition, which could see you £60,000 richer. Totally tax-free, may I add. We're also going to throw in this Jeep Compass worth over £44,000. It comes in a lovely alpine white. It's a hybrid. It's got all the mod cons, and I had the pleasure of driving it this morning, and I can confirm it is so smooth. Just think of all the locations that you could travel to in this. That's a combined prize total of £104,000. It could all be yours, but you need to act fast because lines are closing today at 3 p.m. Here's all the details. Good luck. For another chance to win, text WIN to 86060. Text costs £2 plus one standard network rate message. Go to the website, entries cost £2. Call 09068 786060. Calls cost £2 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and phone number to DY03 PO Box 7558 Derby DE10NQ. Entrance must be 18 or over, and lines close today at 3 p.m. Good luck.
Thanks, Josie. She's a frog, by the way. Josie's a frog. Now, a mum's relatable video has gone viral on Instagram. She shines a light on how basic needs, just like going to the loo alone or doing the food shopping, can be confused with much-needed me time.
Just around the bend, everywhere you look, there's a heart, a hand to hold on to. Everywhere you look, there's a face.
Oh, I really relate to that last one, I have to say. When my kids were small, just going to the loo on your own without, "Are you in there?" God. I mean, it's just that, well, me time. We never used to call it me time, of course, but that's kind of the new name. I mean, do you carve it out, Judy?
Do you know what? I don't think I carve it out. I'll take time off and be like, yeah, this is the time I'll be able to do a few things. And usually the day I'm off, someone is calling me to school, one of them is feeling sick or something like that. But the other day, I went to take my son basketball and we wasn't allowed to watch. So I was like, oh, I've got an hour and a half. I'm going to sit in my car and respond to emails, do all my little bits, make my orders. And as I sat there, I thought, what am I doing? What the hell am I doing? I'm going to go, I've got one toenail missing. Right, from a Prosecco night, right? I am going to find myself a shop and get my feet done. And I went and had the best pedicure ever and relaxed. And it just made me realise that we forget about ourselves so much as mums and as women, and we always put ourselves last. And I was like, well, that's going to be my thing now.
It's mum guilt.
It is.
Did you feel guilty doing that?
You know what? I didn't feel guilty, but there was an element of me, you know, business mind. I was like, oh, I've got these things to get back to. But if you don't put the boundaries in, that was a Saturday. It's always the boundaries will always cross over. And I thought that hour and a half to myself, you don't know what that can do. It's a bit of peace of mind, a bit of relaxation. And we need to stop taking those things for granted. And that's going to be my me time.
Yeah. Oh, nice. I like this mantra.
I think it's because we're always accessible, though, isn't it, as well? It makes it worse. Like, I've actually been known to text in the shower.
What?
Oh, yeah.
Literally, like, in the shower and being, like, sending back an email, like, trying not to get it in the shower.
Email in the shower?
Yes.
Cool.
I would just about answer a call, if anything. One finger, but texting.
I know.
Like...
I was on a tight, you know, time limit.
Oh, my God.
But text is a different level. Cool. I've had meetings in the shower before, yeah.
Meetings?
Tell me they're not on Zoom.
on Zoom, but I turn off the camera.
So they can hear
That
the
is
shower
dangerous.
in the
Well,
background.
I put the mute on, and then when they say, yes, Judy, what do you think? I'm like, I have the towel next to me, I dry that one finger, I hope to press the right button, and then...
And then they see you in the shower.
I press the mute, and then I'll go, yes, I'm right here, yes, of course.
But they can hear the shower
No,
go...
I turn it off. You got on a time scale, so
Yeah.
I'm like, and I do all that, and that is a problem.
Yeah.
But toilet, you don't know. No, I've done the meeting with you.
No, please don't. Please don't. But so, you know, I mean, like, people have been having kids since the beginning of time, clearly, and, you know, you just get on with it. You have to deal with your family. But the extra thing is the phone, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's not to blame it, but, I mean, I am busier now at my old age than I was in my mid-30s, when I shouldn't have been, and it is because of that phone. Because people couldn't get you. You didn't have to answer text. You didn't have to answer an email. I mean, I remember daydreaming. You know, I used to love just daydreaming, you know, just sort of, I don't know, sit in a cafe and I would just think of all sorts of things. But you don't do that now.
There's no time in the calendar or the diary to fit in daydreaming. For me, I mean, I wouldn't specifically carve me time out. I'll just take the opportunities when I see them. So if somebody, like, cancel on me or work might say, oh, yeah, we don't need you at 10 now, we need you at 12, and I'll think, oh, that's 2 hours I didn't have, what can I... And I'll try and use them as quickly and as effectively as I can.
It's still part of a schedule, isn't it? There's still a sort of frantic nature to it. I mean, I don't think it's so much me time we should be talking about. It's just downtime.
Yeah.
You know, just downtime.
Lying. Oh, lying.
Oh, God.
Lying.
Yeah, but you end up laying there thinking about all the things you need to do when you get up.
Oh. And you think, oh, I must go and have a shower and send some text.
Me and Judy have loads of calls in the shower.
Office shower.
Oh, well, I'm not going to cheer you up anymore with this next story because the cost of finding love is going up. Everything else is going up, so why wouldn't that? Singletons are having to pay an extra £30 per date, and that's more, of course, if you're a single parent because you've got to fork out for a babysitter. So we talked about going Dutch on dates, but what about, and you are the mistress of love, Judy, asking your date... Yeah, she always does that when she's talking about that, to split the babysitting bill.
No, because he didn't split me and make that baby, so no.
And we are done.
That says it all.
Yeah, indeed. It's not his responsibility.
It's not his responsibility. I mean, come on.
Adjust my collar now.
Sorry. It's just, you know, it's bad enough sometimes going on a date and trying to take a doggy bag so you can take some home for the kids, you know, that's... But No, I mean, I think, you know, yes, I know it is hard, and I always had a tag team of friends that would support me in those little things. You know, if you know someone's single, come on, girl, you got a date, go out, and you support like that. Don't get me wrong, though, I have had a guy that I dated for some months who went on a lovely date and he wanted me to stay over, and I was like, I can't, because the babysitter is till a certain amount of time, it's going to be more money. And he said, don't worry, I've got you. So that was very nice. But I think when you're going into the date, I mean, you're setting off...
Did you take cash off him then?
Of course, what happened to you?
What, you woke up
and then it was £20 more.
I'm glad nobody got a picture of that.
Exactly, but no, I think to go into the date with that attitude is, you know, it's probably be a turn-off for a lot of guys or men.
Yeah, but I mean, you had a relationship, obviously, that had been established over months with this guy, which is different from, you know, meeting somebody online, Saturday night, will you pay the babysitting bill? I mean, that's going to be a difficult one.
Is it specifically the dates, though, that have gone up, or is it because, as well, people are paying to be on dating apps?
No, I think it's the date. So you go to the cinema, you know, you have a couple of drinks, you go for a pizza. I mean, it doesn't have to be anything lavish,
I mean,
but everything's gone up.
It's a luxury, isn't it, a date, let's be honest. Within the single mum's life, dates come quite low down the priorities. But for me, when I was, Noah was quite young and I had to try and get my life back together, and I took him to auditions with me, like, because I hadn't got the job yet. You know, it was an audition for a job, and so there would be with the pram.
What, in the pram?
And I'd literally just leave him with the receptionist and go, would you mind? I've just got this, who knows how long I'll be in there, 15 minutes, maybe half an hour. And I would have to just ask for the childcare there and then, because I know if I called ahead and said, I haven't got any childcare, would you be... They have got no provision for that. And so I kind of was thinking on the hop and trying to make it work. But for mums at the moment who want to date, I can imagine the costs are extortionate anyway. I don't know how much it is for an average date, but to add on 30 or 40 quid for a child, I mean... You've got to get a tag team. Is it worth it?
Yeah.
You've got to get a tag team, I feel.
You've got to get a good guy at the end of it,
a good guy, but you've got to get a group, a network of friends that you know who will support you with those things, you know, and tag team between you both.
Yeah. Right, still to come. Fans are thrilled to hear that Brookside is back on our screens, and to celebrate, we are joined by two iconic cast members, Claire Sweeney and Alex Fletcher. Before that, we are talking to the wonderful Helen Skelton. She is going to be sharing her incredible Strictly journey, and it really is incredible. We're getting a little bit of gossip from the Strictly tour, I hope, and we've also got a little surprise from Gorka, too. Ooh, that's surprise Helen, look at that. Don't go anywhere. Drama, betrayal, gossip and heartache. It can only mean one thing. It is Super Soap Month. We'll be joined by the bosses who masterminded all the sensational stories and twists and turns that keep audiences guessing and decide which relationships bloom and which ones are doomed. Super Soap Month. This month on Loose Women. Welcome back to your last Loose Women of the Week. Tackling topics, talking taboos and talking you into the weekend. That wasn't easy, and even then I messed up. It's Frankie Bridge, Sinetra Sarkar, Judy Love and me, Kay Adam. Still to come, from surrogacy to drug smuggling, Brookside was known for tackling hard-hitting storylines. 20 years after it ended, it is back on our screens, and Claire Sweeney and Alex Fletcher, who of course played Lindsay Corkill, and Jackie Dixon, will be reminiscing with Sinetra about what made the soap such a success. Now, quickly, before Helen Skelton comes on, we have got some friends and family in the audience today. We've got Frankie's mum, Bev, and we have got Judy's pal, Kelly, with us as well. And if you've ever fancied coming to London to see us in person, like Viv and Kelly, then we've released a whole new batch of studio audience tickets up until May. So not only can you watch the show in real life, but you could also do this! It's a whole lot of fun, so if you fancy coming along, go to itv.com/loosewomen to apply for free tickets. First, though, she stole hearts across the country after showing off her skills in the Strictly ballroom.
dancing the salsa, Helen Skelton and Gorka Marquette.
You came down those stairs and you threw your head back like this girl means business.
8.
Your footwork was exceptional.
Beautifully light on your feet. You absolutely deserve everything you get. Well done. Thank you.
Well, she may not have clinched the Glitter Ball trophy, but she's been stealing the show on the Strictly Tour. Here to tell us more, it's Helen Skelton. Helen, it's so funny just watching that. I don't know if you got a chance to see that compilation there, sort of starting off with that salsa. And I remember that night, and you were like, oh, I don't know how to be sexy. How do I do the sexy thing? And then that last one with the cabaret, it's like, whoa, what's happened to you?
But we were very similar, weren't we? If it's not what you do...
I wish, Helen.
Oh, we were. In the first few weeks, we were like, what are we doing? And that salsa, they were like, just own it, be sassy, be sexy. I was like, I don't even know what you mean. What does own it mean, you know?
Yeah, I know that's what we used to say. What does own it mean?
I've got a glittery bra on and a wig on telly. What more do you want me to do? Do you know?
And that was just Gorka.
No, it was definitely something that got easier as the weeks went on. And now I get what they mean. They just milk it, don't they? And there's absolutely no holding back.
Yeah, so what is the difference then? Was there a light bulb moment at some point as you got in the further stages you thought, this is it?
I think just not questioning yourself. Like, that was Blackpool week, and that was the first time that someone said to me, oh, do you know what, Helen? Just go out and scream as you go around. And I was like, what a weird thing to do, and I did. And it's right, like, then you don't care. You know, you don't sort of... You can't overthink what you're doing, you just enjoy it. And I was also very conscious that in the blink of an eye it's going to be over and I'm never going to do anything like that ever again. So I just thought, I don't want to leave this dance floor thinking, oh, I should have given it more welly.
Yeah.
Did you prefer Latin or ballroom?
Ballroom.
Yeah, me too.
Me too.
Because you're not on your own as well. I think that's the thing with Latin is you do have to go out there and be really confident and like
and
act like you're
sexy.
really sexy. Yeah. And I think sometimes with the ballroom, at least you've got someone to hold on to, and it can just look pretty.
But also with the sexy thing, the more someone tells you be sexy, you're like, isn't this sexy?
Yeah. And also you go into an autopilot, don't you, of what you think you've seen other people doing that's sexy.
Yes.
And you think, I'll do what I think other people... Don't they do something like this? And you think, this isn't me.
I know. I mean, Judy really struggled with that, didn't you?
Yeah. You really did.
Really difficult.
It's really hard, especially, you know, when I had to, you know, touch myself and get into myself. Struggled.
But the cabaret routine, which is iconic, is going to be iconic, that is sexy.
Yes.
Come on, you must have felt the business doing that.
But do you know what? I think sexy is all relative, isn't it? And that was, unlike the samba and the salsa and all that, where they were like, oh, look like you're trying to chat him up in a nightclub. That, they were just like, go out and be fierce and be powerful. Yeah. And that's my version of being sexy, I guess. Yeah. I mean, the suspenders helped, obviously.
You was amazing.
Has this experience made you fierce and powerful?
It's definitely made me remember who I am in that. And I think like that's one of those wishy-washy terms that people say in self-help books and what does it mean? But actually, by the end, I genuinely, with the cabaret number, I wasn't thinking, oh my God, I've got to do school run tomorrow, I'm going to face those school mums, what are they going to think? I was just thinking, I'm never going to do this again, let's just have a good time, let's just enjoy it and let's be in it. I wasn't thinking about what everyone else was thinking.
Yeah. And you were saying, like, I've been watching you on Instagram and thinking of, like, the school run thing. Like, you've definitely, because you've been doing the Strictly tour, you've definitely been living those two lives where 1 minute you're on stage in an arena wearing a costume, performing, and the next minute you're doing school run, giving the kids their lunch and their breakfast. That must be mad for you at the minute.
And everybody who works has the juggle. The extremes of my life are quite intense. Like, sometimes on a morning, leave the eye makeup on if it's good, Kay, don't we?
Thank you. You learned that from me.
I did, yeah.
Oh,
Have a shower with goggles on.
She actually sent me a set of goggles, which I do use.
Good advice.
Time saving.
I'm disgusted.
Yeah.
I like it.
Helen and I don't care.
I'm like, I'll do school run and and my eyes will be massive, and my friends will be like, oh, you look nice. I'm like, I know.
And then you were telling me earlier, you also used to take your kids along to work meetings because you knew that there was no other way you were going to be able to get through your day without taking the kids along with you.
I have taken my kids to so many work things, and I think when you've got kids, when you're a working mum, it's almost like, oh, they're a working parent. It makes you more efficient, makes you better. You haven't got time to get involved in the small talk.
Absolutely.
You know you love your job, so you're better. So I'm really proud of taking my kids to work. I mean, my middle one, I took him to the World Championships when Tom Daley won his second world title. And I still say to him, I'm like, you saw that? And he's 5. He's like, do I know him? But yeah, I mean, I take them to voiceovers, which is quite stressful. I once remember an engineer who hasn't got kids. He was like, I don't know how many kids you're turning up with on what day.
Well, and of course, it was great that you were partnered with Gorka, apart from the fact you got on so well. But of course, he had the little one, another one on the way, which is lovely news. So you were both very understanding of each other and the fact that you had those lives. And of course, we couldn't not get a wee message from Gorka. Just look over there.
Hello, it's me. I know you're a newswoman today. I was here on Tuesday and I missed you, so I just want to say lots of love. I know you in the middle of the Strictly tour. You're smashing it. Keep dancing, keep doing what you're doing, and I can't wait to see you soon.
Yeah. He really cared about you on that experience, and I could see it. We could all see it. He really wanted you both to do well, but you to do well. You definitely had a real connection.
And he'll probably hate me for saying this, but like outwardly he's like so macho and cool and this, that, and the other. But he's so sensitive in the best possible way. Like he was always second guessing what would be right for me, and he's selfless. Like all the routines he did for me were to make me look good. Like he never once tried to take any of the limelight. He doesn't get the credit he deserves.
And he was very strict with you in the beginning, wasn't he? He was really. I remember watching him saying, well, maybe, but he's maybe got more softer towards the end because he knew you more. But I remember watching the early stages and him going, "You have to believe in yourself," and he wasn't smiling at the end of it. He was like, "No, really. You have to believe in yourself." And I thought, God, he's really getting her attention about what she needs to... Yeah, he's really caring for you.
And I think, I said to him, he was such a good friend throughout the whole thing, because obviously it took me a while to find my stride in it. And sometimes some of your friends can be like, oh, this is bad, that's bad. He didn't give you any time for that. He's like...
Get on with it.
Give me a kick up in the bum in the best possible way.
Right. Now you're on tour, you've got Kai. How is he?
Well, I feel like I've got the pair of them. Because, like, Gorka phones most days to see how it's going. I'm like, mate, let it go. No, I'm very lucky that I've got a great friend in Gorka, but I've also got, Kai on the tour. So I'm lucky because Kai loves the ballroom numbers. I don't think anybody will do cabaret like Gorka did. That's definitely his number. But it was funny, when Gorka came to the show on Saturday night, I was so nervous.
Oh, yeah, it's like your tutor.
Yeah. And I was like, was it all right? And he's like, yeah, it was good.
And I bumped into Florice last night, funny enough, and she was saying that you and Kai are the most competitive of all of the couples on the tour. It is. You're out there, and you're about that sporting streak is 100% there.
When they say, what would it mean to win the trophy, every night everybody gets more and more shameless.
Well, you are on tour, of course, until February the 12th, and I think you're finishing in Glasgow.
Yes!
Yay!
We've done a special number. You can join in.
I'll have to be the slosh. Thank you very much, Helen Skelton. More brilliant guests coming up this lunchtime. Brookside is back on our screens, and we're reuniting Lindsay Corkle, Jackie Dixon and Nisha Batra, of course. That is Claire Sweeney, Alex Fletcher and our Sinatra. Don't go anywhere. Our big Brookside reunion, 20 years after the iconic soap ended, we are celebrating its return with some of the original cast. But first, it's competition time again, and here's Josie with the details.
Hello and welcome to Margam Country Park. It is absolutely stunning here in South Wales, and we've got a prize that will really take you to the treetops. It kicks off with this: £60,000 in tax-free cash could all be yours. Yours to spend on whatever you like. Just think of the adventure that you could have with that sort of money. We're also throwing in this. It's a brand new Jeep Compass worth over £44,000. So that's a combined prize total of over £104,000. So if you fancy getting your hands on the cash and the car, you need to pick up the phone and you need to be fast because lines are closing today at 3 p.m. The best of luck. For another chance to win, text WIN to 86060. Text costs £2 plus one standard network rate message. Go to the website, entries cost £2. Call 09068 786060. Calls cost £2 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and phone number to DY03 PO Box 7558 Derby DE10NQ. Entrance must be 18 or over and lines close today at 3 p.m. It could all be yours, but you need to pick up the phone. Remember, we're looking for a winner for this prize, and there's not long left.
Now, it's been 20 years since the 13 houses on Britain's famous cul-de-sac were boarded up. Look, Sinatra's shacked up on my right shoulder. Look at that.
I mean, really? Is that necessary?
He must have paid for the babysitter.
She's blushing.
This is entirely necessary.
Well, we said goodbye to the Corkills, the Dixons and the Grants. But good news for Brookie fans, it is back. You can catch all the original episodes from the start once again. So to celebrate, we are reuniting three iconic characters: Lindsay Corkill, Jackie Dixon and Nisha Battery. Better known, of course, as Claire Sweeney, Alex Fletcher and our own Sinatra.
Oh my goodness.
Good.
God, look at gorgeous. Oh, I love
Caked in makeup.
I love your accent.
Oh, she loves it. She loves a bit of Scousters, Judy, don't you?
Man,
yeah,
I do.
that is her favourite accent.
Oh, I love it.
Absolutely.
They love you a lot.
But look at the three of you. How does it feel to be sitting there? How many ever years on? 20 years?
Do you know what? It's overwhelming, isn't it, Claire?
I can't believe the response.
The response has been immense.
It was like an online thing, wasn't it? People campaigning to get it back. And I never thought it had happened. Suddenly, it's back on STV Player, and the response has been phenomenal. Such nostalgic.
And so much so, they've shown 10 episodes that they're going to show another 10 next week. The viewing figures have been amazing. So it's just.
So when did you find out it was going to be back?
When did 3 weeks ago?
Yeah, I was about to say.
Have you all gone Scouse now that you're talking to each other?
I got the call and I was like, what? They want me in it? A new version? I'll do it. But when they said they were repeating it, which I think is the right place for it at the minute.
Yeah.
Because it is nostalgic, and I think that's what we all need. A little
it's
bit
like
of good
history
news
repeating
and
itself when you watch it now. Strikes, so everyone on strike.
And the cost of living price.
Cost of living, the wage,
Back then as it is today, isn't it?
When you was in it, did you realise that this was going to be such an iconic show?
Well, do you know what? My first scene was with Sinbad, so when I got my first script, I already was a big fan of the show. I was 12.
Oh,
and I was like, well, I've got a scene with Sinbad. I was like, it was just amazing.
And she looks... You can say this as well, Claire. Alex has not changed at all.
Well, I said she's turned into... I remember watching her as a kid with the big perm, and then she turned into a swan, didn't she?
Very much. Well, he's not a rat or a frog.
You also said she was a beautiful crier.
You were... honestly, I remember watching Alex cry on screen.
Look at you there.
Oh, look how little
God,
you
it
are.
brings back so much memories.
We actually grew up on that show. That's the strange thing. I was 15, you were 12. We were all teenagers at some point on that show.
I was 26.
But you look like a teenager.
I looked about 15, but I was 26 with a bad fringe.
But we grew up, so we went through all those awful hairstyles and all
and
our...
the shell suits, the shell track suits, they were like legendary.
But when Alex cried, she would let a single tear would come down. She'd look absolutely pristine. You almost smiled as you cried, and I would be thinking, I look like...
I'm a good crier. But I mean, you were much more into singing before you went into Brookside, weren't you?
Well, I auditioned. There was an audition to be in Mike Dixon's band, and I wanted that part. And my agent said, you can't go for that part. I had something else on, but go for this one. You're not right for it. It's Jimmy Corkill's daughter. They want a little scally. You're not right for it. So I went for it, and there is something empowering about going for a job that you don't really want. Yeah. And I got it. I did two episodes. Went to work on cruise ships for 4 years, and they kept asking me to come back for one. And then I remember writing to Mal Young and saying, Is that one episode still on the table? I've finished on the cruises now.
All right.
And they wrote me back into it. I was there for 6 years.
Oh, we arrived on the back of a van. Literally.
You what?
We arrived on the back of a van.
They were like the hillbillies of the
Dixon's
close,
just
like,
arrived
the
at the van.
shame of the close turned up.
But actually, when we moved into our house in real life, we also arrived in the back of the van. So I was like, oh, I've done this before.
So, I mean, obviously you're going to get people saying, are they going to bring it back? Are they going to bring it back? I mean, is that a thought in your head, or are you
Well,
just
never
kind of
say
enjoy?
never. Kay,
Well,
thought
yeah.
they'd start showing it again. I know. You know, from the beginning.
Do you know what? I think it'd be a bit awkward going back to the close and being like, listen, get out of our house. We need it back.
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean?
People live in the
People
houses.
live there now,
Yeah,
People live
live
there
in the
now.
houses.
I mean, I think they'd be happy.
I think they would, you know, it's like, yeah, come on, bring it on. Yeah,
I
can you
have to
imagine?
get back to the
It'd be
close to
really
see it.
hard.
yeah.
It'd be hard to pick up from where we left off.
I feel like it'd have to be like a 5-part drama, way into like the night after the water shed, and it'd be really, you know, we could really.
Where are
As long
they
as I
now?
could still have
Pretty
Barry Grant,
stories.
I'd be there in
Yeah.
a heartbeat.
You were quite fond of Barry Grant, weren't you?
Well, I was a super fan. I was a massive fan of the show. Cut 2 years later, I'm suddenly doing these bed scenes with him and snogging him. I mean, I just couldn't believe. Well, that's Dean. That's my dad. That one.
Snogging her dad.
I couldn't believe
it wasn't that
it.
groundbreaking.
Yeah.
Talking about
Sullivan.
snogging scenes, well, you've both got kids now. Will they be watching it, or...?
Well, my little 6-year-old, I don't think he will be, but Yaz, who's 17, she's like, at the minute, I think people are like going, Yaz, was your mum like Brookside or something? And because they're obviously all their parents are watching it and all excited about it. So you think, Yaz, yeah.
Well, my
I think
son's
she will,
slightly
yeah.
confused because there's all these stills coming off of me kissing a girl.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I was. They did a gay storyline for me for a while, so I don't know if there he is.
I just don't even acknowledge the person I was in the very first episodes. I didn't know what I was doing. I mean, I literally got caught at
Learned
the bus
on the
stop.
job.
Oh, learning. I mean, I had the world's worst hairstyle. I didn't know.
I watched the scene on YouTube and I was like, oh, she's good. She's good.
it.
I got caught up in it all watching
But you know,
them.
that was the wonderful thing about Phil Redmond. He used to give people chances because I'd never acted before. I remember, like, Jackie, who started off in legal, ended up doing makeup.
Oh, yeah.
Mal Young started off in props and ended up producing.
Yeah, there was
Phil
so many
was
opportunities
really
there.
He
It
gave
was
people opportunities,
It
didn't
was
he?
a real breeding ground for that, and people have gone on to be like, you know, amazing.
Yeah.
Well, Jimmy McGovern was one of our first writers. And,
Absolutely.
yeah,
And Frank Cottrell Boyce,
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was brilliant to see it back, but we resolved the big question of the day, which is rat or frog with you two. So I'm sorry to go back to this, but we had these made up specially, and I'm not letting it go. This cost a lot of money. So what are we thinking, audience? Claire, rat or frog?
Be nice, be nice.
I'm going frog.
Oh, yeah.
I'll
go frog as well, then.
All right. Okay.
Just me, then.
Alex?
What am I?
Alex is I think Alex.
What am I?
Yeah.
I feel bad, but it's a compliment.
They're good things.
What
It's not
am I?
necessarily bad
I
things.
don't know. I
There you
went
go.
frog. I went opposite on both of them, so what do I know?
Nobody wants to be a rat.
No.
But you can be whatever the heck you want. Claire and Alex, thank you so much. And we wish Brookside all the success. There'll be more episodes coming, and they're available on the STV Player.
Excellent.
Thank you.
That is it for today and this week. On Monday, Happy Valley's Ryan Kaywood, that's actor Rhys Connor, will be here, and later in the week, Prue Leith. And Josie Gibson joins us as well. We'll see you then. Have a fabulous weekend.